Fear not, citizen. Justice will be served. You're in good hands.
The defense is wrong.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Hi. Uno momento, por favor. I think. Oh, what up? I turned my volume off. There we go. I was doing something earlier and I turned my volume off. So, hi, everybody. Hi. Let's see. Let's see who we've got. We've got Tiger Lily. We've got Jayla, or yeah, Eljo. I always say it backwards. I'm dyslexic, so what up, Gucci, Mullet, Christina, Fashion Mullet. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. How was everybody's Lisa Joe? I know. I always, for some reason, when I see the abbreviation, I say it backwards. I always say yeah, for some reason, I don't know. Anyways, moving on. So today we're going to be going over the Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez case. We got a huge update and I'm not excited because he's deceased. I'm excited because he's finally been found. And look, this is literally like this happened 15 minutes away from me. So the community, like, this is big for us. And I've known this entire time that he was on that property. And when they did the first dig on that carport that she had made, that fresh concrete, the dogs like hit a scent. So it tells me that he was moved. And I had a feeling. I was like, he's there. I know he's there. And he was there this whole time. Now, I don't know why Christina, that Discord is actually not mine. It's one that I'm promoting because they gave me my own little space for my channel. But it's great. They've got different channels, all kinds of courts and all that. Hey, Simi, good to see you. Trials, cases, everything in there. You guys should go check it out. I've got it pinned at the top. It's called Seeking Justice. So yeah, we're going to be going over that. We're going to be going over the timeline. And I'm going to do something new. I usually go off my notes, but I see that StreamYard has notes, but it's like a teleprompt thing. So I'm going to try to do that and see how it works. But I'm not sure exactly who runs it. I am not absolutely positive on that, so I'm not going to say. Hi, Cold. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Oh my God, that is so good. I found this unicorn yak It's a raspberry orange cream soda. I don't know if you guys can see that. Anyways, yeah, it's really good. And it's like a light purple, but it looks dark right here. I also found this banana split cream soda. So I'm excited about that. Uh, anyways, so what I'm going to do is, I guess, hey, Mark, good to see you. Unicorn yak. Yeah, I know. I saw it and I was all like, this looks so good. They have some other ones too. I needed some snacks and drinks, so I went on GoPuff, and I don't know if you guys have that wherever you are, but GoPuff is like a small company. You can just order some, it's like a convenience store that you can order from. Um, so we're gonna go over the timeline for the Noel case, and then we're going to I pulled up the original news clips. I pulled up the new news clips. And then once we get done with that, we'll continue our Shonda coverage. So, what does it taste like? It's raspberry orange cream soda. So, it's got like a hint of berry with orange and cream, I guess. It's good. Tastes good. I like it. um, so let me see if I can get this teleprompter. Hold on one second. Bear with me. That's music, not what I need, because then I'll get a strike. We don't want that. No strikes. Okay. Hi, Judy. Good to see you. All right. Let me see my notes. So, we're going to start with the timeline. And while I do that, I'm going to put here's the trigger warning, because you guys know the channel by now. While I'm reading this, I will not be able to see anybody's comments, so I'll catch up after, okay? So while I'm doing this, I'm going to put this up and remove image file. These should work. I tested them earlier, so they don't work. Boo. Oh, there it is. Yeah, look at how sweet he is. Oh my God, he is just so precious. And I've got more pictures that we're going to go through. He is just the most precious thing. I don't see how anybody could hurt this little boy. Okay, let's get into the timeline. So, October 2022, Noel, a 6-year-old boy from Everman, Texas, was last publicly seen alive. Family members later told investigators they have not seen him after this period. Authorities later said he appeared malnourished around the time he disappeared. Then we've got late 2022. Investigators later learned Noel missed important medical appointments related to his developmental and physical disabilities. Then we go to March 20th, 2023, Texas Child Protective Services received concerns from relatives who said they had not seen Noel for months, leading to a welfare check and a police investigation. March 2023, Noel's mother, Cindy Rodriguez Singh, allegedly gave multiple conflicting stories about Noel's whereabouts, including claims that he was in Mexico with relatives. Authorities later determined those stories were false. March 25th, 2023, an Amber Alert was issued for Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez. Police identified Cindy Rodriguez Singh as a suspect connected to his disappearance. This is a lot, you guys. Whew, hold on. Let me catch my breath. March 2023, days after Amber Alert, Cindy Rodriguez Singh and her husband and 6 children left the United States for India. Investigators later said they fled shortly after authorities intensified the search for Noel. April 2023, Everman police announced they believe Noel was deceased, even though his body had not been found. Cadaver dogs and searches around the family former home became a major focus of the investigation. October 2023, a Tarrant County grand jury indicted Cindy Rodriguez Singh on charges including capital murder, injury to a child, and abandoning a child without intent to return. Then we go all the way from October 2023 to July 2025. The Federal Bureau of Investigation added Cindy Rodriguez Singh to its 10 most wanted fugitives list. And then Cindy Rodriguez Singh was arrested in India and extradited back to Texas to face her charges. April 2026. A judge ruled Cindy Rodriguez Singh incompetent to stand trial and ordered treatment at a state hospital aimed at restoring competency. May 11 through the 14th of 2026. Investigators returned to Noel's former home in Everman for a renewed excavation and search effort. Human remains were discovered in the backyard area, which I'm telling you guys, I've known this the whole time. I don't know why it took so long. Back area during the search. May 2026, officials confirmed through dental records that the remains found were those of Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez. Authorities pledged to continue pursuing justice in this case. Now, Noel was born premature and had several physical and developmental disabilities, including visual impairment, a limp, speech delay. I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but estophia, and chronic lung disease, which required regular treatment. Rodriguez Singh reportedly shunned her son as evil and possessed by a demon. She was alleged to have abused Rodriguez-Alvarez by depriving him of water and food to avoid having to change his diaper. Rodriguez Singh was known to beat her son with a set of keys when she caught him drinking water. Like I said, he had a visual impairment, a limp, a speech delay, chronic lung disease, and estophia, whatever that is. So there's that. Put me back up here a little bit. Let's go to the comments. Yeah, those dimples. All right, everyone's just saying hello. Okay. Hi, everyone. So happy you're here. Hi, Nikki. Let's see. People do suck because this baby needed a lot of attention, a lot of care. And I think that's the problem with these parents is that they have these children and they end up with all these disabilities and they're like, whoa, 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 I can't handle that. And then you have the ones that are a little weird with their religions and stuff. And this one, and you'll see in some of the news clips, she worshipped some things. And yeah, I'm glad India was like, yeah, they're like, take her back, Mark. Yeah. Hi, Christina. I don't know if I said hi to you yet. Hi, Julie's guitar. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. So let's look at some of these pictures of this sweet baby. So this one is from, I want to say, I don't know if this was from the original dig site or from the other day. I just had that in there. I wish you could do more than one. Look at how sweet. I would take him. If you don't want your children, call me. This was the recent excavation of the backyard. And they had tents all around. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. Oh, he's so sweet. He is adorable, I know. He's so precious. I just want to wrap him in my little arms. He deserved love. He didn't deserve whatever that monster did to him. So, let's get into these. Should be right. 1, 2, foster mother inside the shed, mother on the run, and all right. So this is the original search. Here we go.
Police believe at some point there were human remains on the property where a missing 6-year-old boy lived. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock after an exhaustive search of the property yesterday.
And I watched this entire thing live when it was happening. I was on edge, like, oh my God, are they gonna find him? Are they gonna find him? Glad they found him, but damn it, man. Yeah, I know. He was 6. Yes. He was a baby. I knew it. I knew he was in that backyard, but this was the original search. And I watched this for hours. And I was like, they're going to find him because the dog hit on a scent and there was nothing.
And into the nighttime hours, police did not find the remains of 6-year-old Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez, but evidence suggested he may have been there after he died. They had zeroed in on a concrete patio that was suspiciously poured just before his family fled the country. They're also focusing on items that were removed from the property. Fox 4's David Centendry is in Everman tonight with the latest. David?
Well, according to police, Noel's mother previously told some family members that she thought the child was possessed by a demon. Some family members recently reported to police that the mother had abused Noel before she took off. Now investigators say they have at least some insight into possible remains being discovered. Everman police investigators have been digging, searching for possible remains of 6-year-old Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez behind the home of Charles Parson, where the child lived with his family.
She just up and left.
Noel's mother, Cindy.
Wait till you guys see where they were living. This old man let her boyfriend, and all it's like Bebe's kids. Like, she had all these children, okay? She had 6, so that would be, I think, 7 children. It was 6 or 7 children. Surrogate baby wants to video hate with me. He's 10 and wants to meet his... My yes. Yeah, just wait until you guys see
Rodriguez
this.
Singh and her new husband, Arshdeep Singh, fled the country to India last month with 6 of Noel's siblings after Noel was reported missing.
So
Investigators
kids.
believe Noel is dead. Now, canines that detect human remains were alerted to some of this dirt, but no remains.
So 7 kids, they hit on something, but he was moved.
Were found.
And we've got no reason to doubt these dogs and what they do.
6-year-old Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez lived in this shed with 8 other family members. And right here, where investigators have been digging, is where a makeshift shed used to be. Now police believe that at some point in time, the possible remains of the child were in the makeshift shed.
I couldn't stand here and tell you today if they were Noel's remains or not. We don't know.
Police now say Noel's stepfather disposed a large indoor-outdoor carpet in a nearby dumpster the evening before they fled. Investigators recovered that carpet. Police say that carpet was used inside the makeshift shed that was later torn down to build a suspicious concrete patio. Monday, after removing the patio, canines were alerted to the topsoil, but no remains were found.
It does.
Why do you just randomly, especially when you see how they were living, why would you just randomly pour concrete under a patio? Just, I'm going to pour some concrete right here. Yeah, that's sus.
Lead us to believe that there were human remains at one point in time in the shed that used to exist where now that concrete patio sits.
The FBI.
She was sent, Mark, she was sent to a mental facility to get evaluated to be competent for court. So, they're working on it. Hi, Donna. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Is supporting the investigation, but will not get into specifics. A law enforcement source tells Fox 4 it might be difficult for federal investigators to assist in locating Noel's family without a murder warrant. For now, Noel's mother and stepfather only have warrants for abandoning and endangering a child.
Surely she knows this is going on. Surely she knows that we're looking for Noel.
Community members came together last night to pray for Noel while hoping his on-the-run parents are found.
I don't know where she took him, have no idea.
The chief of police tells me they are waiting on a, quote, significant warrant return, which he believes will provide insight as to what happened to Noel. Obviously, we've been on the story for quite some time. We'll continue to follow through with any updates.
So, a significant warrant up, like, they were waiting on significant warrants or whatever. Like, why? Why? Donna, I'm so glad to see you here. So that was the original search, and let's see. All right. Let's take a look at inside this shed where they were living. Oh my God.
Government are sharing the latest update in their search for a 6-year-old boy believed to be dead. The department called off searches this past weekend. Investigators in Tarrant County are combing through records, hoping to find the path that will lead them to that missing 6-year-old. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager right now. The physical search is on hold as police try to collect more information about Noel Rodriguez's family. Fox 4's Dion Anglin spoke to Everman police about what they are learning every day. Dion.
Hi there, Steve. Well, the police chief says there are dozens of investigators going through all types of data and paper trails to try.
Hi, Bill. It's good to see you.
And connect the dots in the search for Noel. But he also points out another aspect in the case is what Noel's mother was worshiping. The continuing search for the remains of Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez involves combing through months' worth of data, such as financial records and emails, to retrace the family's past movements. And there's more.
We do know that she was adamant about the Santa Muerte and believed that she was part of the religion of Santa Muerte that worshipped him.
Fox 4 video inside the family's converted shed recorded a glimpse of a shrine to Santa Muerte, also known as Saint Death. Some call it a dark world of worship and idolization, and it is condemned by leaders of the Catholic Church.
And in this case, it's very important. She idolizes that Santa Muerte. It's everywhere within the shed. It was everywhere within the home. It was on her vehicle. So it was pretty evident to us that she was idolizing and worshiping that. And essentially, he is the patron saint that offers protection. From my understanding, offers protection to like the cartel and those kinds of activities.
Chief Spencer says the hope is.
So, yes, this is another crazy religious thing. And this is why I don't care what they want to believe in, but it's like to an extent, like, don't go like overboard with things because then you're Lori Vallow and, you get crazy. And then who was the other one? Judy something, what's that mom's name? Short blonde hair. I can't think of it right now. Where she was like with that therapist lady and they both got arrested. Anyways, yeah, these people, like, why do you think your child's evil? What is telling you that your child's evil?
To gain insight into Rodriguez Singh's mental state and past comments she made to witnesses, describing Noel as a demon and evil. The 6-year-old special needs boy has been unaccounted for since late 2022 and now presumed dead by police. His mother and her new husband, Arshdeep Singh, fled to India with their other children rather than explain where the boy was. A recent search of the property yielded no physical evidence, but a strong belief that human remains had once been near their shed. Investigators won't be specific about the types of data they are analyzing, but it has involved over a dozen search warrants to obtain it.
Essentially, the investigative team is trying to immerse themselves within the lives of Cindy and Arshdeep and the family over the past 6 months to find out every move they made, try to figure out what their patterns were, because we have to be able to identify what was different, what kind of anomalies occurred in their life, and then figure out what caused those anomalies, most likely the death of Noel.
Now, the chief says the evidence they are gathering
part of the religion of Santa Muerte that worshipped him.
Fox 4 video inside the family's converted shed recorded a glimpse.
Look at this. Look at this.
Of a shrine to Santa Muerte.
Ew. You have 7 kids plus you and your husband. What the hell?
Also known as Saint Death. Some call it a dark world of worship and idolization, and it is condemned by leaders of the Catholic Church.
And in this case, it's very important. She idolizes.
So there's that. That's crazy. That's crazy. You guys saw Tanner Horner's little shed that he was living in, right? My word, the shrine was tidy. Yeah, well, because that's what they, worshipped. 7 children. I don't know if that was between them, like a Brady Bunch situation, or if they were all hers. But where was I going with this? I lost my train of thought. Squirrel. I'm on new medication, y'all, but so I'm all over the place. Let's see. I don't know what I was just saying, but Frankie. What is that girl's name? Frankie. Something Frankie. That mom. that YouTube mom. You guys know. Hey, Dan, good to see you. Ruby Frankie. Ruby Frankie. That's the mom I'm talking about. She abused her kids because of religion. She was another Lori Vallow. So, who's Paul? Where's Paul? Is there a Paul in here? Missing something? All right. So, this is going to be her on the run.
6:35. After more than 2 years on the run, the mother of a missing North Texas boy is now in custody. The FBI says Cindy Rodriguez-Singh has been arrested, and she now faces a capital murder charge in the presumed death of her son, Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez. Our Alana Quillen is live this morning in Tarrant County, where the Everman police chief is talking about this major turn of events in the case. Alana.
Yeah, this case has gripped the North Texas and Everman community since early 2023. And Chief Al Brooks says even with this recent arrest, there's still one big question he wants answered, and that is wondering what ever happened to 6-year-old Noel. Now, his mother, Cindy Rodriguez-Singh, once on the FBI's most wanted list, was captured in India, where police say she has been on the run since March 2023. It was then that surveillance video showed Singh, her husband, and 6 other children boarding a flight there just days after police were asked by relatives to do a welfare check on her son Noel. Investigators quickly learned that Noel wasn't on that flight with them and actually hadn't been seen by anyone for months prior, since October 2022. Cadaver dogs then alerted to possible human remains at the family's home, but no physical evidence was found. Chief Brooks says the case.
So this kid had no passport. They were already ready. No passport, like nothing. Like he didn't exist to them. It's so sad. Like, what about the other 6 children? This is what I'm talking about. It's always the ones that have like mental issues or disabilities, or, that they have to take those extra steps to take care of their children. Their children aren't normal children that can just go play and they don't have to worry about them and they can just go to school and, it's not Nikki, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And they can't deal with it. And I don't know why that's the solution, but apparently in these people's minds, that's the solution. Hey, Mustang, good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, the parents don't see them as whole. They're not perfect. They didn't come out right, basically. And I don't remember what it was, but there was a religion way back in the day where if your baby did come out with a disability, they would just bury it, and that was that.
Frustratingly went cold, but the mother's arrest is a big step toward getting more answers.
We were surprised by the announcement. Very happy to hear it. Now we move into the next phase of the investigation. This has been an ongoing process for over 2.5 years. We are not going to quit. We're going to continue to fight for justice for Noel as far as it takes.
Now, the FBI has not released details about Singh's arrest and where or what circumstances she was found, but they thanked Indian officials for their help.
And they never gave up. Usually when kids disappear like this, they're not ever found. I thought this was going to be another Summer Wells, another Sebastian case, and I'm so glad it's not.
There was a $250,000 reward for her arrest. Now, experts say she may already be back on U.S. soil as this case moves forward. And just another bittersweet update, Everman officials say that a park being built in the city for special needs children is going to be named after Noel in his honor. Back to you.
All right. Let's see. Kel's in the house. Think I got all my mods here except for one. And that's okay because she's on vacation right now. All right. We got this is so apparently at one point he had a foster mother. And this is another case where he was in foster care and he was given back to the mother. And guess what? The mother, yeah. And it happens way too often. And I don't know who allowed that, or I know a CPS worker did not go to that shed and say, this is fine. This is okay. This is livable conditions. Like, what? Who gave this baby back? Girl, the system all the way around just needs to be burnt to the ground and redone all the way. What am I doing? What am I doing?
Police there, the chief, in fact, telling CBS News Texas this afternoon that the search for the missing 6-year-old child we've talked about will continue later this week.
But sadly, police do believe little Noel is dead. And a former foster mother for Noel, you're going to see her on her screen there in just a moment. She tells our Robbie Owens that she remembers.
And y'all better not behave when she gets on this screen. She is a lovely, nice lady.
Remembers the little boy as simply being lovable.
You want a burger?
He was a sweet little boy.
So
that was our boy.
Oh.
And he loved to give hugs, and he was just a sweet little
Sensei!
boy. Full of smiles, loving and lovable.
Hi, Sensei. Good to see you.
That's how Patricia Paris remembers Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez.
Were you already in here?
But now she speaks of the child she once fostered in past tense, never imagining that returning that sweet little boy to his birth mother would lead to this.
It has led to a very unfortunate, unimaginable, and devastating conclusion that Noel is likely deceased.
No kid,
Look at that
whether
baby.
disabled or healthy, deserves what happens to him. There are too many support systems that are here for us, that if we can't handle kids with special needs, we need to seek those social societies that are here for us. Although born premature.
And she is absolutely right. She is absolutely right. There are sources, there are people, there's communities, you're not alone. And if you don't want your child, if you just straight up don't want your child, somebody will take him or her. Like, getting rid of them that way is not your only option. And it's the worst option.
Paris says Noel could walk, talk, operate his tablet, and was overcoming his challenges. She says when he and his siblings were returned to his birth mother, Cindy Rodriguez-Singh, in December of 2021, her family assured her of their continued support. I remember my husband telling.
But did you see that little smile? And this is when he's with her, the foster mom, because you can hear her in the background. And he seems so happy and content. He might have some medical problems, but he looks perfectly fine to me. I don't see nothing wrong with him.
Telling her that if she feels like she's overwhelmed, she need a break, just call us. We would come get him. We would take care of him. Earlier this week, police dug up a patio, and cadaver dogs alerted handlers to the presence of human remains at the home where the family lived. But Noel has still not been found. Rodriguez-Singh is believed to have fled to India with her husband and other children after police began asking.
Look at those faces. They sure were ugly. And it's okay, we could say that because they did what they did, so I don't really care. Hey, never growing up, good to see you. But look at them. Now, who looks evil? That little happy baby that was smiling and, running around with his little tablet, or them? Please tell me. It's them.
Questions about Noel's whereabouts.
She needs to turn herself in.
No, they ugly on the outside too, Dan. I'm gonna shame them.
She needs to come to reality of whatever happened. And I have to do now what is right for all of her children.
Paris tells me that when she had to return Noel to his birth mother, her husband even asked her if they could keep him. They tell me that Cindy Rodriguez-Singh told them no, saying he was her baby. Nicole?
Yeah, Robbie.
I know you. She wanted to keep that baby. And she said, no, he's mine. This is my baby. And what did she do? She threw him away and put him in the dirt. There was someone who loved that baby. And she was so selfish. She said, this is mine. Like, I can't with people.
I'm sure there are so many people heartbroken about this, but I want to ask you, so you mentioned the family did fly to Turkey last month, and now they're believed to be in India. Do we have any update on the efforts to try to find them and get them back here to the States?
Well, we know that the FBI is assisting Everman police in that search, but they haven't released any specific details of how they are going about that. For now, though, Cindy Rodriguez-Singh and her husband considered fugitives. Nicole?
Robbie, a heartbreaking story that will continue to follow for everyone here. Thanks, Robbie.
Okay. So I think that's all the old stuff. Let me make sure. Yeah, that's all the old stuff. And I think these two are the new ones. And then we'll get into the Shanda stuff. This hasn't taken too long.
South of Fort Worth. Good evening. I'm Steve Eager.
I'm Heather Hayes. The search resumed today for the 6-year-old missing since 2022. FBI agents dug up several spots in the yard in the home where Noel Rodriguez.
And for those who came in late or just getting here, if you go back to the beginning, I broke down the entire timeline.
Alvarez had lived. He is presumed to be dead, but his body has not yet been found. His fugitive mother brought back from India last year on capital murder charges. Fox 4's Amelia Jones live at the scene in Everman. Amelia.
Heather, Steve, we've been able to inch a little closer to the home, but the main investigation is happening in the backyard, as you mentioned, and authorities still have a portion of Wisteria Drive blocked off. We do have confirmed, though, that the FBI, the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office, Everman Police, and the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office are here at the scene. We do know this search is connected to the case of Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez. The 6-year-old was last seen alive in 2022, and police were made aware of his disappearance in 2023. Police say this search is just part of the investigative process, as the boy's body still has not been found. The Everman police chief said there were no new leads or tips that led to this search, but we know this is a very thorough operation that's underway. Sky 4 shows multiple tents set up in the backyard, and FBI.
Why now? That's what I don't understand, is why now? Did she say something?
Agents sifting through multiple piles of dirt that are on the property. It seems to be very methodical. This is the same property on Wisteria Drive that authorities previously searched since 6-year-old Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez lived in this shed behind the home with his mother, stepfather, and 6 of his 9 siblings. His mom, Cindy Rodriguez-Singh, was captured last year in India and faces capital murder charges. The family fled the country as questions began to surface about her son's disappearance. She was was recently ruled incompetent to stand trial and sent to a state hospital. The Everman police chief spoke about an hour ago about their goal in this new search effort.
Not a lot of new information, nothing we can share at this point. It's just the continuation of the ongoing investigation to try to seek justice for Noel. That's what this has been about since day one, and it continues today.
The Everman police chief did take questions from reporters, but he was not able to answer a lot of them. As he said, it's very important to keep the integrity in this case and the integrity in the search efforts that are underway. Now, it does seem that investigators are packing up their things as we were able to get closer to the home, but Everman police say they will likely be back tomorrow morning to pick up the search. Heather, Steve.
Boy, thorough is one way to describe.
And the very last one is confirming the remains.
Tarrant County District Attorney's Office confirmed that remains found yesterday in Everman do, in fact, belong to missing 6-year-old Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez. Noel was last seen in 2022, but investigators never knew for certain what had happened to him. Fox 4's Amelia Jones has been following this case for us. She's in Everman again tonight or nearby with the latest, including newly discovered letters Noel's mother wrote to the judge overseeing the case. Amelia.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say that it was probably due to malnourishment and dehydration, because we read that was one of the things, that he wasn't allowed to have food or water, and if he was caught sneaking water, then he would get beat with a set of keys. So, I mean, and the last time that he was seen, he was very malnourished. So that's a guess. I don't know what the other abuse was like. I know that there was something in there about him getting beaten. I'm sure that he did. I don't know that for sure. Everything I say is alleged, but I definitely think not getting food or water has a lot to do with why.
Right, Steve. While this positive identification brings answers to the question of where was little Noel, we still don't know what happened to him or how he died. The remains of the special needs 6-year-old were found in the backyard of a home on Wisteria Drive, where Noel once lived with his mom, stepfather, and 6 of his 9 siblings. The FBI, the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office, Everman Police, and the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office excavated the area in a multi-day search this week. Meanwhile, new letters we got a hold of written by his mom, Cindy Rodriguez-Singh, don't reveal any information about what happened to her son, but they do give insight into her mind. The multiple letters are dated in April, written to the judge presiding over the case. This is around the time that she was given the competency evaluation, which the psychologist ruled she was found to be incompetent. Her handwriting is difficult to read, and she does ramble at times. Excerpts from the letters include repeated phrases such as, "God knows I'm not a bad person. I'm not crazy."
Mustang, I responded. Sorry.
She writes to the judge about the competency evaluation, saying, "I only had 1 day/night to study everything. I believe that is unfair. Sir/or madam, I'm truly sorry for not passing that test." Rodriguez-Singh also writes about alleged abuse and poor treatment she's received at the hand of officers and threats from fellow inmates.
Oh, where? Hold on, let me go back. What did she say? Hold on, I'm sorry. Where was that paperwork? I'm not crazy, God knows. Okay, sorry.
Area in a multi-day search this week. Meanwhile, new letters we got a hold of written by his mom, Cindy Rodriguez-Singh, don't reveal any information about what happened to her son, but they do give insight into her mind. The multiple letters are dated in April, written to the judge presiding over the case. This is around the time that she was given the competency evaluation, which the psychologist ruled she was found to be incompetent. Her handwriting is difficult to read, and she does ramble at times. Excerpts from the letters include repeated phrases such as, "God knows I'm not a bad person. I'm not crazy." She writes to the judge about the competency evaluation, saying, "I only had one day/night to study everything. I believe that is unfair. Sir/or madam, I'm truly sorry for not passing that test." Rodriguez-Singh also writes about alleged abuse and poor treatment she's received at the hand of officers and threats from fellow inmates. She writes about her 6 children and an alleged pending Child Protective Services case, but one thing she does not write about is her son, 6-year-old Noel Rodriguez-Alvarez, or her charges of capital murder.
Yeah, Dan, I hate it when these people complain. Like, for real, the audacity. The audacity.
Since these letters were written when she was deemed incompetent, they likely won't play a role if and when she stands trial.
Certainly, they could potentially be evidence as punishment if she was found guilty and there was a punishment hearing. But overall, I'm not so sure that they would bear directly on whether or not she's guilty of the offense of capital murder.
We reached out to Singh's attorney for a comment or statement about the identification, but we have not received a response yet. The Tarrant County District Attorney doubled down on his statement from Thursday's press conference, saying he believes Rodriguez-Singh will regain competency and stand trial. The DA emphasized they are committed to getting justice for Noel. We'll dive deeper into these letters coming up later tonight on.
All right. And we will also keep diving deeper. I think that was it. Was that it? Let me make sure.
County District Attorney's Office confirmed that remains found yesterday in Everman.
Okay, that was it. All right. So, anybody got anything to say about that? Anybody? Went through the timeline, went through all of the news clips that I wanted to show you from the start to right now, current. And that's pretty much all that's going on right now for that. Now, let me pop this back up. Yeah, you're welcome, Mustang. All right, so now we're going to get back into the Shanda stuff. So, trigger warning, she's going to irritate you. And this case is already sad, but she's definitely going to irritate you. We're going to see how much we can get through. And I need to hold on one second. I need to go get my notes real quick. Okay. Did everybody leave? Ooh. So if those dolls start moving, I'm out. Are you guys looking at the dolls? This one is that, I don't know if you can see it. It's this tall. I do have a giant Cupid head. Ooh. I've got a ton. All of this right here that you see is antiques, like creepy dolls that are all cracked and like really crazy. I've even got toilet paper from, hold on, let me see what year. When I say I've got bizarre shit over here, you guys can't see it, but I've got toilet paper from like the 60s. It says nice and soft, and I paid $20 for this. It is still intact. It is not open. What year is this? I don't know if it says. I don't know. But anyways, I've got so much stuff. Vintage. Yeah. I've got vintage everything. I've got a vintage pink phone that's hung up on the wall. Oh my God. My pants are stuck. Okay. I'm just gonna have to stick this up here for now. Perfect. I went back without a problem. Okay. All right. Where were we? If the apocalypse comes, you're prepared. I got the toilet paper. Dolls are cool. Yeah, I love my dolls. My husband calls this the creepy doll room. These aren't like the weird dolls with like the curly hair that old ladies collect. These are like the super vintage, cracked, like it's missing like half its foot, like the weird. Anyways. All right. Are you guys ready? And anyone that may wander into your place looking for supplies will sure. Yeah, probably. You have a payphone? Awesome. Where did you get that? Because I go antiquing. We go antiquing so often. We go like every week, every other week. That's cool. That's awesome. I see like old jukeboxes and stuff, and those are really cool. And like you guys remember the jukeboxes that had like the lights that went like this, but it also had the bubbles, like the water. There's a antique shop around here that has one of those, and they have it plugged in, and it's really awesome. Mustang, she's very sensitive. There's a barbecue place. I don't remember where it's at, but they have a payphone outside, and I took a picture of it because I love it. All right. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's do this. And you remember how last time I wrote where we left off so I wouldn't forget? Oh my God. Last live, I did not do that. And The time it took me to figure out where we left off was ridiculous, but I found it. I found it. And last time we only had 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. We could have just finished that out. So, with further ado, how'd that go all the way? I have nothing cool. You're cool. You're cool, Gucci. We have a Miss Pac-Man arcade game. That's cool. My son has a traffic light. Oh, cool. I love all the weird stuff. All my Oh, an old cigarette machine. You mean like the one in bars where you like put the money in and then you pull the thing like it drops? Is that what you're talking about? I used to go to the cigarette machine for my mom all the time. So, without further ado, let's finish up this 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and then we are getting into sentencing. You guys excited? I know. I live in the past. I'm telling you guys, if I could go back with a different childhood, I would totally go back.
You may be seated. Mr. Roberts,
Right.
you can
Let me find
continue
out where
your
we were.
hearing.
Video, we only had 4 minutes. Oh, that's not gonna help me.
You don't remember, but you were able to lie to the police officer at the time?
I don't remember talking to the police. I mean, I don't remember this part of the
Hold on. We'll just go back a little bit.
reflex to tell Paul to get up and watch Sharma. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, if it's a habit, if I do it enough times, then and plus it serves to get Paul out of bed when I left because he'd like to go back to sleep.
You told the officer that there was an alarm on the basement door. This is the small closet because there was some sewing stuff stored in it. That was a lie, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. There was sewing stuff stored in it before he asked to do that, but
the alarm
I don't know why I told him that.
The alarm wasn't on there because there was sewing stuff on it, was there?
No, sir.
The alarm was on it because Timothy was supposed to be in there, right?
I mean, as far as I know, like I said, I don't.
This woman takes no accountability for anything. Well, that's what it says. I mean, I don't know.
You don't remember, but you were able to lie to the police officer at the time?
I don't remember talking to the police. I mean, I don't remember this part of the conversation with the police officer, sir.
You tell the officer that there were cameras in the home because G would strip down naked and wander around. Well, that wasn't the only reason the cameras were in the house, was it?
No, sir.
You left out all the other details about that you had to monitor Timothy and make sure he didn't go certain places and sneak places and be deceitful, right? You didn't tell the officer that, did you?
Apparently not. I don't know why I didn't, but
You said he fell out of bed and you went and had to get him and put him back into bed. He never fell out of bed that night, did he?
not as far as I know. I don't remember, sir.
Well, you know he didn't sleep in the bed that night, don't you?
Well, yeah, so I'm sorry.
That's what I tell my husband. Whenever something happens, he's like, well, it wasn't me. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I did it. It was me. I just don't even argue with him anymore. I'm just like, whatever, it was me.
It's the same that you got up at 5:30 and had to put him back in the bed, and then you changed it to 30 minutes because sometime with the ending in a 30 because you learned at that point the rigor mortis had already set in and he'd been deceased for a number of hours. That was still a lie, wasn't it?
I mean, yes, sir, I don't remember any of this. I'm sorry.
The hot sauce in the bathroom downstairs was for food. But it wasn't, was it? The hot sauce was for punishment, right?
It was also to put on food.
But you didn't mention that, we also use hot sauce as a form of punishment, did you?
Apparently not.
I'm guessing you probably didn't mention the officer. We also had the crazy idea yesterday to pour some hot sauce on his penis for a punishment. You didn't mention that either, did you?
Apparently not, sir. Like I said, I don't remember.
You don't remember sending Paul a text saying, I wonder what it would feel like if we put this on his private parts. Yes, you do. You remember that. And that's the only thing that Paul said no to. Because he's a man. Well, I wouldn't call him a man, but he's got those private parts and he knows he wouldn't want that. That's the only thing that he said no to. And she remembers. She's plain dumb.
You told the officer that you did not restrict Timothy's movement at night with shackles. That was also a lie, wasn't it?
Again, I don't remember, sir. I know we talked about it, but as far as overnight, no.
But you would restrict his movement with shackles, wouldn't you? Whether it was zip ties or handcuffs or leg shackles.
I mean, I can only go back based on the text messages. I don't know.
Why did you wait 20 minutes to call 911 after you found Timothy deceased in the small closet in the small room?
I have no idea, honestly.
She knows why. Because she had to position him to make it look like he fell off that bed when she knows that he was in that closet. She had to get herself ready and amped up to make herself be able to cry, which still didn't really work because, I mean, if you see it, she's just like, like it's pathetic. But anyways, she was just getting the little scene set up. That's why it took her 20 minutes.
I learned of that gap, just a couple of days ago. The whole day is surreal to me, so I have no idea why we waited like that. I don't know. I can't imagine waiting, but apparently it happened. I don't know.
Do you remember Paul asking you, should we call 911?
I don't remember him ever asking. Because I was the one that called, and I was the one, I remember performing CPR, and he did help me out a little bit when I got tired to take over a little bit, but I mean, I can't imagine ever saying no to that.
But if it's on the video, that's what you said, right?
If it's on there.
So if the video showed that it begins with you with movement outside of the room at about 6:19:21, and 911 is actually called you tell Paul you have to call at 6:37, so that's about 18 minutes, isn't it?
I mean, let's see.
I hate everything about her. And yeah, well, if it's on there, well, I guess, yeah. It's like, take some accountability. Oh, but that means that she'd be guilty and, that doesn't work for her defense.
19, yeah, that's 18 minutes.
And Timothy was never responsive to you, was he?
No, sir.
His eyes were completely wide open, completely glazed over, weren't they?
As far as I remember, yes, sir.
He never moved, never took a breath, never did anything, did he?
No, sir.
And while this is all going on, you tell Paul, we'll have to tell them he was on a hunger strike, right? You remember telling him that?
No, I don't.
Don't remember that either?
No, sir.
Do you remember telling Paul, or do you remember saying, put his pants on to make it look like he's been this way?
I don't remember saying that.
Do you remember asking Paul to put the belt on to make it sure that that's the way he looked?
No, sir.
But if they're on video, you said those things,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Ms. Vander Ark, Isn't it true? Timothy had just become nothing more than an annoyance for you, and he wasn't even a human being in your eyes anymore.
That is absolutely not true.
Oh, that fake. That is absolutely not true. Again, a child with disabilities that she didn't want to take care of because she had all these other children and it seemed like they were okay. I mean, they weren't getting treated like that as far as I know. Like, what is up with these parents and children with disabilities? Like, if you can't do it, give them to someone who can. It's okay. Just let go. You don't need to no, I've got to have them, and then you're overwhelmed and stressed and no, just let them go. Oh. Well,
you may be seated.
that was the end of that video. That's all we had left there. So now I believe we are finally getting in to her sentencing. The moment we've been waiting for. So exciting. And I don't know how long this is, but hopefully we can just get through it. And let's see. Hold on, let me see how long it is. 46 minutes. I do love seeing her in that orange, though. Orange looks good on her. And yes, cold, here we go. Finally. The best part. Especially when he gives her the what.
We are on the record in file 23110 FC. It's people of the state of Michigan versus Shanda Vander Ark. Are you Shanda Vander Ark?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Vander Ark appears before the court with her attorney, Mr. Fred Johnson. The people are represented by Matt Roberts. The date and time scheduled for a sentencing in this case. Have the people had a chance to read the pre-sentence report and the attached guidelines?
We have, Your Honor, we have no additions or corrections, although I have been advised by Mr. Johnson that he does have a number of corrections. We've discussed those over email. And but for his objection to the restitution award, we have no objection to the corrections that he is seeking.
Okay, I did get an email from Mr. Johnson. I appreciate that. Why don't we just go through each objection just to make sure we have them all on the record, and then we'll inquire to Mr. Roberts whether or not he objects to that. So you may proceed.
May we start with the very first page one, the first page one?
Okay.
Well, that's usually where you start is page 1. You don't usually start at page 45. Good Lord.
Noted. Under the personal history information, it notes that my client's educational attainment has been a bachelor's degree. We're asking the court strike that and insert the words Juris Doctorate.
Any objection, Mr. Roberts?
No objection, Judge.
Okay.
What?
And then just for probation notes, I'll, Ms. Anderson, I will send you, did you get a copy of the email?
I did not, Your Honor.
All right, I'll forward that to you just so you'll have it in writing exactly what all the corrections are. So, all right, go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
On page 2, the very next page, at the under the rubric jail credit, it indicates that the dates that we're in question here are in July 7th, 2022 to January 19th, 2024. And we're asking the court to amend that to today's date, the second date, January 23rd, 2024.
Any objection, Mr. Roberts?
That checks out, Judge. That'd be 4 additional days, so 575 days of credit.
Okay.
That is our position as well. Thank you. Let's see here. Make sure I don't miss anything. Judge, on page 2 of the interior of the document, the second page 2, on the let's see, 1, to third paragraph down. There's a request for restitution for $5,000 to the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. We object to that request. We ask that the court disallow that request at this juncture. We haven't received any information to justify it, and we'd ask for a hearing if the court plans to proceed on that.
Mr. Roberts?
Your Honor, that request is made by the Department of Health and Human Services as compensation back to the Crime Victims' Rights Compensation Act. That fund did pay out some funeral expenses as a result of this, and the fund is entitled to seek compensation from the defendant in those cases. I think it would end up being joint and severally liable with Paul Ferguson as well if we get to that juncture with Paul Ferguson. But we do believe it is an appropriate award, and there is documentation from the state to indicate that that award was paid out. So we would request that $5,000 be ordered.
Has Mr. Johnson been provided that documentation?
He may not have. I can forward those to him. So.
Mr. Johnson, would you prefer to just have the restitution portion reserved until you can receive the documentation? Then if you so choose, you can ask for a restitution hearing. I guess what would your preference be, or Mr. Roberts, what your preference would be? I mean, I can order it with the ability for Mr. Johnson to come in and ask for a hearing, but I guess it depends on what either.
I think I forgot to log out of my Discord and I was getting messages, so you might hear that little ding throughout this. I'm sorry.
One you would like to do.
If I could just make a suggestion, I would prefer that in lieu of that, the only other thing I would ask that is if I can get the information to Mr. Johnson. My understanding is Ms. Vander Ark has another matter which is being handled in front of a different judge at this time. That case is not going to finish today, and she will be here at least until tomorrow. But perhaps by then we can work out this restitution issue and just move forward that way with the court ordering it. And then if Mr. Johnson chose at a later time to challenge it, certainly he would have the right to do that through a motion.
Okay, yeah, what I'll do is, I mean, I think the paragraph in there saying that they're requesting restitution, I don't think there's any need to strike that in terms of ordering it. What I'll do is I'm going to order it with your opportunity, Mr. Johnson, to request a hearing. And obviously, if you want a hearing, we'll have a hearing on it. And if you don't, then it'll stand as ordered.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll provide Mr. Johnson the documentation we have as well, so he can review that, Judge.
I know.
Okay, you can continue, Mr. Johnson.
Page 3, Judge, and this first one was not in the email that I sent to the court. This is when I was able to identify later on, and it's in the very first sentence.
There it goes again. Who was it I think it was last week that said something about puke on the prairie braids? I can't stop thinking about that now every time I see her braids. Who said that?
The first sentence read, "It is therefore recommended." I think there was intention that the words "there" and "for" be combined into "therefore." Okay. To make that correction.
Objection? Mr. Roberts?
No objection.
All right.
On the third paragraph, under description of offense narrative, in the last line of the third paragraph, there were visible bruised on his chest. I believe it ought to have been bruises on his chest, and we'd ask to make that correction.
Okay, no objection.
On page, if the court will go forward to page 5.
All right.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paragraph 6. There's a description of the plea negotiation for Paul Ferguson there, and while we don't object to what's stated, we would like to add language that, in addition to what's stated, that the people have agreed to fairly and fully inform the court. And I think that was testified to as part of the agreement.
That is accurate, Judge, so no objection to that.
Okay.
Okay. On page 7, under the heading of employment, under unemployed, then it says 17th Circuit Court. I believe the intention was to say 27th Circuit Court, Your Honor. That's where the employment was, in fact.
Yeah, I did see that. I think the 17th is actually Kent County. I believe, so it's the 27th Circuit Court. Any objection, Mr. Roberts?
No objection.
All right.
And Your Honor, we're asking the court to add to the employment that my client was also employed with the 14th Circuit Court as a law clerk as well. When
January 2021 to August 2021.
January 2021 to August
2021.
2021, Your Honor.
Okay, any objection, Mr. Roberts?
It's a fairly minor point, but I think technically that was an internship. I don't know if that qualifies as employment, but I'm not. If the court wants to put that in there, that's fine.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I mean, we don't differentiate between, I guess we can say rate of pay as an internship. I think that kind of will make sense to me. Is any objection to that, Mr.?
That's appropriate, Your Honor. We will support that.
Okay, all right.
And on that same page, Judge, under colleges, advanced degrees, the second one down, West Michigan University, Cooley Law School, under level completed, it says 3 years college, 4 years college, and it should be 3 years.
I don't know. I think she's trying to do anything and everything. Tomato, 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 tomato. This is stupid. I know. I just want to get to like the good stuff, but I don't want to just like skip everything and miss something. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, 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 boom. You know, he reminds me of a Steve Urkel type. Like that's Steve Urkel's father. Yeah, it is. It really, I mean, clearly, but Urkel Senior. Oh, y'all.
And the
I
area
forgot
study
to
should
hit
be
play.
law,
Oh
not
my
legal
God.
assistant.
Okay, any objection, Mr.
No
Roberts?
objection.
All right.
And certificate, I'm sorry, you're correct. Certificate should
I
be
thought we
Juris
were looking
Doctorate.
at something.
All right.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, on the next page, page 8. And this also was not included in my original email, Judge, under mental health, where it says bipolar disorder.
Okay.
We now have the medications that.
Y'all, these new meds are supposed to help my ADHD, not make it worse. I'm over here. I've got it paused this whole time.
That's been prescribed, and I'm going to spell them for the record. The first one is Lamistol. Lamistal?
It's Lamictal, C, not S.
Okay. Lamictal.
TIL.
Lamictal. And it's spelled Vistari. Til.
L at the end.
Oh,
Okay.
Lord.
Vistaril. Visceral.
We're going to be here
Visceral.
all day.
And the treatment commenced in 2024.
Okay.
The third page one, the following page, under basic information, highest grade completed. It says bachelor's degree, that should be Juris Doctorate, Your Honor.
Okay. Any objection, Mr. Roberts?
No objection.
Yeah, I mean, he did the best that he could for her with, I mean, what could you do in this case? So the fact that again, I'm gonna keep saying it, the fact that she's saying that she had infective counsel, no, I'm not buying it. And I'm pretty sure that this judge isn't, I don't know why he's taking his sweet ass time though. That's weird to me. It's been a while.
And thank you, and I have no additional corrections to make to the PSI.
All right. Any additions or corrections to the guidelines at all, Mr. Roberts?
No.
And Mr. Johnson? Any corrections or additions, any corrections to the guidelines at all?
No, sir.
Okay. Any challenges of the guidelines, Mr. Roberts?
No, Judge.
And Mr. Johnson?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Vander Ark, have you had an opportunity to review the pre-sentence report and the attached guidelines?
Yes, sir.
Any additions or corrections that you have?
No, sir. I got all of them.
Okay, Mr. Roberts, I believe we have some individuals here who wish to make victim impact statements. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. The two older siblings of Timothy Ferguson, with exclusion of Paul, would like to make a statement.
Okay, they may come forward, and whoever wishes to speak first may go ahead and, they can stay there, they can come to the podium, it's completely up to them, so.
It's Millie Ferguson is going to be first.
Okay. And just for the record, I think Ms. Ferguson actually wrote a letter as well, I believe, and
I believe it's included, yes.
yeah, I have read that's attached to the PSI, but she's certainly welcome to make a statement. So. Good afternoon, ma'am.
So this is her other daughter. Or this is her daughter.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Can you please state your name for the record?
Millie Joan Ferguson.
Go ahead, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you. I'm Millie. I'm Timothy's youngest older sister. I'm 2 years older than him. One of my earliest memories I have was being taken away from my parents by CPS. My two older brothers rode in a car ahead of us, and me and Timothy rode together in the second car. And in every picture we have as a family, Timothy was always right by my side. We were the two youngest, the two smallest. We were the two that sat in the middle in the backseat car rides with the too small car. The last two to get hand-me-downs, the two that never had to worry about not getting homework help from an older sibling. He was always 2 years behind me, so every time I got to the next level in school, that's how many years I had to wait for him to follow along. When I was in 8th grade, he was in 6th, and there was a student in my science class that started talking about him, trying to start rumors. I stood up right as class was starting, as people were quieting down, and I shouted at him to never talk about my little brother. People could say whatever they wanted about me, I didn't care, but not about him, and never about him, because I was his big sister. It was my job to protect him. I like to say I don't regret things in my life, that every mistake I've made has made me who I am today, but when Timothy died, I couldn't stop regretting. I regret not hugging him more and teasing him so much instead of telling him that I loved him every once in a while. I regret not putting aside my differences with Shanda and Paul just to check in on him. I regret not dancing with him the last time I saw him at our brother's wedding. These are the things that I can't remedy now. There's no fixing what's been done. No way to redo it all over again, and that's my regret. That I couldn't protect him when he needed me most. Timothy was so smart. He could take anything apart with any tools, or none at all. He had trouble focusing, but when he
Nikki, she had left the home, and I think she went off to school maybe, or just started working and had her own place. I'm assuming that she had some issues with them, so she left. I'm also not sure if she said something about CPS took her, so she might have just been taken from the home. I don't know their stories too much, but I did hear something about what is his name? What is his name? The other brother that's going to speak here in a second. This is all alleged, but apparently he essayed one of his siblings. And I don't remember which one. Oh, yeah. Our mothers don't make us who we are, because I'm nothing like my mother. I since I was a kid, I knew that I was going to grow up to be exactly not her, that I was always going to go down a different path.
He did. He was just as smart as the rest of his class. He made people angry, yes, but then he would look at you with those big baby blue eyes and you could never stay mad at him. It took me 6 months of therapy after he died to even properly feel the emotions of his death. And I'm still in therapy today. I've been trying so hard since he passed away just to try to let people know of him, let people know that he was loved, that there are people out there grieving for him. I'm here today for him because I was asked to speak for him, because I was given a victim impact statement form instead of a witness one, because the victim of this crime can't speak for himself. I knew him his whole life. I held him the day he was born, and I continued to try to hold his hand as long as he was by my side, until he wasn't. I want the woman who killed my little brother to face the highest punishment possible. I want her detained for the rest of her life so she can't hurt anyone else. And I want the world to know that Timothy was wanted, if not by her, then by me. He was loved by me. Thank you.
That was lovely. That was sweet. Yeah.
Nolan Ferguson would be next, Judge. Okay.
Nolan, that's what it was. Oh. But keep in mind, people show you what they want you to see. And I did hear something about this one.
Please state your name for the record.
I go by Nolan. My full name is Eric Nolan Ferguson, Jr.
Go ahead, Mr. Ferguson.
I am Timothy's oldest brother, and unfortunately the oldest child of Shanda Vander Ark. I live with my wife 900 miles from here, and in July of 2022, I was working 60-hour work weeks, trying to build a career when I received a phone call that I never thought I would get. My baby brother Timothy was gone. For 2 days, I reeled with no explanation, until I was informed that our own mother was in jail for his murder. Somehow, making an entirely unexpected and deeply awful situation worse. I thought that things were different than when I was younger. I thought my mother had changed for the better. Not one day has been easier since then.
So apparently she hasn't changed, which means she was probably very controlling and abusive back then as well. Only they survived. Maybe it wasn't to the extent that she treated Timothy, because he just said, I hope that she would change, but she hasn't. So clearly she's always been abusive and a narcissist. Can't get my words out.
I had to leave my career behind. My wife has to watch helplessly as I struggle, day in and day out, wondering how none of us knew what was going on, wondering if I told Tim I loved him enough times for him to remember up until the very end.
Tim. That's so cute. Tim. Aww.
I have to wake up every day and pretend that I am who I was before Timothy died. I have to pretend to be Nolan so that my friends and coworkers and family won't worry about me more than they already do. I'm surrounded by people who love me and care about me, but not a single person besides my sisters who understand how hard it is. Timothy wasn't surrounded by people who loved him when he died. And if I had known that, nothing could have stopped me from rescuing him and holding him in my arms and telling him I love him, that his big brothers got him, just like I did the day he was born. But because of Shanda Vander Ark's actions, I instead got to cradle the bag of his ashes in my arms.
Oh, he said Shanda Vander Ark. He didn't even say mom. Oh, look at that. Look at that look. He is scowling at her with disgust.
Just like I did the day he was born. In all my life, I only knew one thing that my little brother didn't like. He hated goodbyes. If you had to say goodbye to anyone, he would cry, and he would hold you, and he would say, don't go. But now I'm the one crying, but I never got to say goodbye. I will always love Timothy like I always have, and it kills me to think about, but I know he loved even his abuser and kill her up until the very end, because unlike me, that's all he was capable of, love. I, on the contrary, want to stand here and express anger and hatred that I feel, but if I'm honest, all that's just a mask, a bandage I try to put over the hole in my heart that was reserved for Timothy, but is now just filled with pain and remorse for every hug, high five, and I loved you that I might have missed in the time that I had with my sweet baby brother. So now I turn to the justice system in hopes that in addition to serving the maximum penalty, that there will be no appeals or second chances. If I can't have my brother back, she shouldn't have her freedom back. And lastly, I want everyone to know that to those who knew him, even that wouldn't feel like justice. Because the life of one sweet little blue-eyed boy is not equivalent to that of a murderer.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson.
That's right.
Thank you, Judge. I want to preface this by saying that those of us involved in the justice system, including the defendant, know what sentence the court is going to impose here, at least for that first-degree murder charge. And it is a sentence which is as warranted in this case as ever there was a case. That life without parole is the only sentence that Ms. Vander Ark should receive. I wanted to stand here for two reasons. I wanted to stand here, up here at this podium, next to Millie and next to Nolan as they gave their statements, for two reasons. One, to show that we support them, that we support whatever statement they wanted to make here today. But I also wanted to see Ms. Vander Ark. She didn't look over at her kids once. Not once during this entire process did she look over at her children. And that speaks volumes, because this case has always struck me that it's impossible as a parent, let alone as a human being, to understand the depths of the depravity that it took for us to come here today. All of the things that she did, or all of the things that she withheld, or all of the things that she directed her other son to do, are so callous and so cold that they just defy explanation. And I convinced myself that the only thing that could make any sense is that on some level, she had stopped thinking of her children as human beings. And frankly, her not looking over and not even wanted to express some type of emotion or some type of remorse or some type of recognition of those two older children that she had a hand in raising and who spoke so eloquently and so beautifully and so passionately here today.
You know what? I bet she's leaning in telling him, I just couldn't look over at them because I would get a panic attack and I would start crying because I love them. I bet she's spewing some bullshit.
Just reflects what I guess we already feared and already knew about Ms. Vander Ark. By a long margin, this case has been the most difficult case that I've ever worked on as a prosecutor. There are a few people that have had any
That's the prosecutor, Cole.
contact with this that wouldn't say the same thing. Whether it's police officers, whether it's the first responders, whether it's the paramedics or the firefighters who were on the scene, who all needed counseling to get through it. To the prosecutors that have looked at this, to the other attorneys that have looked at this, to anyone you talk to, nobody can look at this and understand any of this. And certainly nothing in Ms. Vander Ark's testimony, we know it wasn't persuasive for the jury.
I thought it was him at first too, but then I listened to his voice and I was like, oh wait, no, that's not him.
And nothing in her testimony can provide any real insight into what was going on here. Again, other than what I feel is the conclusion here is that her children were just not people to her. That she just stopped thinking of them as that. They were, certainly Timothy was just an obstacle to her. He was a challenge that she was going to win. She was not going to let Timothy win. And she said it over and over again in the text messages. And it's just unfathomable. Again, I know the court has no discretion to impose, and we certainly welcome and stand wholeheartedly behind the court here having to impose the life without parole sentence. But I would say this, the court does still have some work to do because it does have to impose a sentence for that first-degree child abuse case. And as the court is aware, and we have not contested the guidelines in this case, they call for a minimum sentence of between 135 and 225 months. But I submit to the court, if ever there was a case where the guidelines don't even come close to reflecting the charge, it's this case. If not this case, then I can't even fathom what case it would be. Even with the offense variable scored at nearly double what would be necessary to maximize that score, that still doesn't even scratch the surface of what this woman did.
This man is so calm. He's just so calm. Even when he was roasting her when she was on the stand, he just did it like so calmly.
I don't know, frankly, what number to suggest to the court. For years, I practiced in front of Judge Hicks. I know that Your Honor did as well. And Judge Hicks would frequently throw out numbers when he was discussing the discretion that the court has for life offenses, to throw out just numbers that just seem ridiculous. They don't seem ridiculous in a case like this. They just don't. Because nothing, again, can touch what this case was. Nothing will bring Timothy back. We all know that. We can't escape that tragedy. That the time for that has passed. But I would ask the court to send a message here that reflects how heinous, how callous, how cold, use whatever adjective you want to describe these actions. That even for that first-degree child abuse case, that's what this sentence should reflect. And those guidelines just don't even come close. So I leave it in the court's discretion here, and again, knowing that despite what decision it makes on that charge, it has no discretion with the life without parole sentence. And the only solace I take away from this, and I hope all the relatives and all the loved ones and all the people that cared about Timothy know that the only thing we can do at this point, and the only thing this court should do at this point, is to make sure that Ms. Vander Ark never sees a day of freedom again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
Hell yeah. Oops. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Mr. Johnson, any allocution on behalf of your client prior to sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, if I may. Very few people, I think, in this courtroom have the experience of going into a jail to meet your client for the first time. I know Your Honor has. And it's a strange feeling to go in there, because usually when we go in there, Judge, we've read a police report, and in some of those cases it describes something just horrible. It's just a terrible thing that's happened. And we go into those jail cells and we see this client, and we're looking because we're expecting to see horns and the tail and the pitchfork. That's what is being described. And we get in there and we see just a person who is now facing jeopardy due to the worst thing that she's ever done in her life. And whatever else has made this person that way is not in the guideline scores. In my client's case, Judge, as you've read the pre-sentence and the people have read it and it's been admitted, her biological father, my client's biological father, died when she was 8 years old. And he also sexually and physically abused her, which means he began before she turned 8. And as the court is aware, we don't catch these guys the first time, and especially when force and violence is used, they can hide their transgressions for years. Once this man is out of her life, another man comes into her life, her stepfather, who does the same thing until she's old enough to move out of the house. The court is also aware that my client has also had the burden of mental health issues. And quite frankly, the reality is when people are conditioned to believe that that's the sort of treatment that they deserve by their father and their stepfather, and their mother's not going to protect them, they tend to seek out that sort of abuse in the spouses. So the abuse continues all through the youth of her life. until she finally frees herself with this man.
Hey, Junior, good to see you. Hi, Tiger Lily. Oh, thank you. Yeah, none of it's an excuse. He just admitted what she did. Not an excuse, exactly. Mitigate him. Yeah. Mark, yeah, that's the only way to bring this in. All right, so we're more than halfway through, and the best part is going to be, like I said, the end where the judge really gives it to her.
And what does she do when she frees herself? She puts her, without resources, she has no wealth. Without resources, she puts herself through college. She puts herself through law school. She not just puts herself through, she's second in her class in college, and she's second in her class in law school. And she has, eight books from law school, which she's, jokingly told me this twice what her stepfather had. They talked about those things. She goes on and she provides a home for her 3 children and her ailing husband while going to school full time, while being a mother full time, while working full time. She does all these things. But she makes a mistake. She makes one decision she shouldn't have made. She says yes. She has no criminal history. I couldn't find a speeding ticket.
Nobody has a criminal history until they do. That's irrelevant, sir.
She raised dogs. She did Herculean stuff.
Did he just say she raised dogs? What's that got to do with anything?
When she got that phone call telling her that Timothy is either going to come to her or he was going to go into foster care, she says yes. Had she said no, I already have a house full of people I can't afford. We don't have the resources. Had she said no, my husband's sick. I have a 20-year-old son who's still living off us, sleep on the couch. Had she said no, Timothy would be alive today. And he would probably be in the loving care of a foster family, probably someone who can take care of kids with special needs. Had she said no, with her academic backgrounds, and quite frankly, given the fact of she has a relative in the legal profession who's highly regarded in the profession, she would now be practicing law and probably be doing very well at it, given her academic abilities. But she didn't say no. She did what moms do. So that's.
I mean, he's trying, but I don't think there's anything that can make her look like a good person, to be honest with you, after everything that we've seen. But he's trying.
My baby, I'm taking him home and I'm bringing him into the house. She brought him in knowing that she shouldn't have him there because she doesn't have custody. She brought him in knowing that she couldn't get him into schools and get him into because she didn't have custody. Her ex-husband was not going to assist her in that. She brought him in knowing she wasn't going to get any more financial assistance. It wasn't her intention.
Y'all, I love that it's snowing outside in the background. That's so pretty. He must be getting paid well. I think that he's just oh my God, why my head is gone today. He's just a public defender, I believe. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If anything, continuously bragging about how smart she is and her scores on tests and her law degree and Oh, you're sick of snow, Junior. Well, I'm in Texas, so it's already getting super hot. It's really hot already. But yeah, if anything, this is showing that she's competent and that she knows right from wrong and that she knew exactly what she was doing. So, I mean, this isn't helping her.
For us to be here. It was never her intention. Something broke. If if she had said no, or if
I bet.
we wouldn't be here, something broke. Judge, this case makes no sense to anybody. There is no gain for her from this conduct. And again, if the court heard the transcripts of those emails, those text messages, she and Paul are unaware of the damage. They don't see it. How could you not see it? Because something's broken. There's no specific intent here. There's no intention. Her intention was to mother her kids like she did the other two children that were in her household. That was her intention. Her intention was to provide, as she did with the other two kids. You don't see this with the other children. This is just something about this boy and this woman broke. 30 years ago, we didn't know about postpartum depression. 20 years ago, we didn't know about postpartum psychosis. Someday, somebody's going to tell us what's wrong with this woman and why anyone would be capable of what she did. Someone's going to explain it. 400 years ago, we burned people like her at the stake because.
Is he trying to say that in the future they're going to come up with some kind of disability for her? What? It's 75 and raining. Oh. Well, at least it's not snowing. It's not too bad. I used to live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I loved it. It was so pretty. It's a cute little town. I loved the little coffee shops.
The bloodlust was there. And that's what made people feel better. And that was their solution to a horrible situation. Well, there is Mr. Roberts' description of this offense.
Yes.
Nothing's inaccurate. Nothing he said do I disagree with. But I think you have to.
I also think that he was referring to, well, we didn't know about this in the past, or we didn't know about this back then, and we didn't know about this back then. So who knows what is gonna, something in the future. Like, I don't know what the hell he was talking about. Chewing gum 1 minute. Yeah, I know. Ugh, 90 and muggy. Yeah. At this point, he's just talking nonsense.
Add in the part that something's wrong here. Something's wrong here. And even if we can't put a label on it, we all know it. Timothy was her blood son. This wasn't some child. This wasn't a financial gain. This wasn't a stranger. This was her blood. She gave birth to this boy.
None of that is relevant, sir. She didn't care. She did not love that child. She just abused him. Oh my God.
And yet she was able to do what she did. Something's broken. The human mind just its capacities and its reasonings. I don't claim to understand, but we can look at her life before then and the circumstances, and they come together. And unfortunately, Timothy is the victim of it. That we get that. But the idea that this is premeditated or she intended, when they found the video show when she was surprised. Mm-hmm. She was surprised when he passed. something's amiss. And I'm asking the court to respond to that reality. The easiest thing would be to
And also, if he did all of this to himself, why is any of this relevant?
exceed the guidelines. But I'm asking for it to do the hard thing, and that is to respond to reality. This is a person who, if she had said no, 10 years from now she'd be practicing law, and people would be asking her to come and to speak to high schools to talk about how you overcome what you've overcome, the mental health issues, the abuse from man after man after man. This was a survivor and a person who pulled herself up by her own bootstraps, no resources, all on her own, all her effort.
Absolutely.
This is what she's done as well. And it's unfortunate, it's horrible for Timothy, and it's horrible for her. But at the end of the day, we're not looking at evil, we're looking at sick. And I'd ask the
No, we're looking at evil. Pretty sure we're looking at a demon. Pretty sure. Raining here in the D2. Oh man, I think we're supposed to have thunderstorms tonight, but it's been raining on and off, on and off. And I started some plants that I'm really trying to grow, and I can't do it when there's no sun out. I need sun. Good Lord.
court to apply that standard. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms.
Okay, I think we're getting to the good part.
Vander Ark, do you wish to say anything prior to sentencing?
Hell no. Such your trap.
Well, first and foremost, for the individuals here to speak on Timothy's behalf, I appreciate you being here. It kind of struck me throughout the trial, you know, who was here for Timothy. And at one point in time, I worried that we may not have anyone to give a victim impact statement. And that to me made me very sad, quite frankly. Horrified more than anything, but quite sad. And I'm happy that two individuals took time to be here from miles across the country. And out of the horrible situation, that makes me feel a little bit better. Not much, but a little bit better. You know, Mr. Johnson makes the same argument today that he made at the trial, that this was just negligence. This was her not understanding what was going on. She was really trying to do the punishment. She was trying to be a good parent, and she just didn't realize that Timothy was in such a horrible condition. And I found myself, especially during closing argument, quite frankly, finding myself almost believing that. And afterwards, after the trial, I sat in my car after leaving that day, trying to understand, you know, why I could feel that way. And what I realized is that I wanted to feel that way because I didn't want to accept the reality of the situation here. And the reality of the situation here is that this person, Ms. Vander Ark, you intentionally engaged in these acts. This wasn't negligence. This is not understanding why, but you intentionally did this with a goal. And I think Mr. Johnson's correct. I don't believe there was an intent to kill here, because you would have lost the very thing that you wanted to torture. Without him, you have no one to torture, except maybe the younger children. So I don't believe you intended to kill him. I think you intended to continue on torturing him for as long as you possibly could. The why, I don't know. But all the information that I have in front of me, and I sat down, I really thought about this, and I looked over my notes from the trial, demonstrate that this wasn't negligence. This wasn't you not understanding what was going on. You look through, I read through every single text message of the exhibit, 2,000 plus pages to try to understand what the heck was going through your mind. And what became entirely clear to me is that you knew exactly what you were doing. Immediately afterwards, when police arrive at the home, you immediately concoct this lie about he's been on a hunger strike. He was in the bed and I checked on him and I gave him some food and all this stuff. You got Paul involved in it. At one point in time, put baggy clothes on him. Put clothes on him to make sure, I guess that he looks like he was actually wearing them, that he was hiding his poor condition, even though you already received text messages.
Like this judge, he got it. He listened and he got it. Like everything that he says is spot on. And I don't understand why a lot of judges don't use this opportunity to talk to the defendants like this, because this is the best part.
Weeks earlier of how bad he looked. You testified yourself how highly intelligent you were. In fact, that's the only thing that you testified to that I think was actually true. You were quite proud of that, boasting how intelligent you were. And not only that, but your actions in hiding this child. You hid him from his grandparents. You made sure that your other son, G, or little man, as you call him, didn't see him. Those text messages talk about not wanting anyone to see him. I want to see him in that condition. You made sure that the garage was closed. When you sent him out, there was no pants on to clean out the garage. I don't want to believe it because I don't understand. I can't wrap my mind. I've been trying now for this entire case to wrap my mind around about how somebody could do something so horrific, not only to another human being, but to their own child. I'm a father myself. I love my kids. I love them with unconditionally. But quite frankly, there's a mother's love that I've seen that is striking. And anybody who's a parent who's married, most mothers, not all, but most mothers have such a strong love for their children. And to see what you did to your own child, I don't know if there's a word in the English language to describe how to describe it. I only can come up with just horrific. You intentionally and systematically tortured this child. And let's call it what it is. It's torture. You tortured this child. This wasn't punishment. This wasn't trying to curb his behavior. You tortured him. You monitored him obsessively. All the things you did. I looked through every one of the messages. Bread with hot sauce, wall sits, up and down the stairs, sleep deprivation, ice baths, making him puke up food, monitoring his bathroom time, giving him 60 seconds in the bathroom if he went to urinated, or 5 minutes if he had a bowel movement. You made him sleep in the closet. You threatened us to make him sleep in the garage. You put Tabasco directly in his mouth. You made him put his hands over the head. Made him work in the garage with no pants. And there's two other things that didn't come out in the trial that were in the messages. One, that there was talk of blindfolding him, depriving him of his physical sight as a punishment. And the last thing that struck me is just absolutely horrific in terms of your thinking. There was mentioning of giving him salt water as a punishment. One of the text messages talks about, hey, tell Paul or tell Tim that I'm not going to do the saltwater punishment. And your reasoning for not punishing him was that, oh my God, we can't get him salt water.
So a lot of times the judges will allow cameras, but the stipulation is you can't focus on the defendant all the time. So that's why they do it that way. I know, I get aggravated by it too. I'm glad I didn't hear all the abuse. Yeah, it was really bad. It was really, really bad. Um, that's why I put trigger warnings up. But yeah, sometimes the judge just doesn't want the cameraman like solely focusing on the defendant. So
That could hurt him, that could kill him. But it was because you didn't want to give him another excuse to sit down on the toilet because he'd have diarrhea. He'd have diarrhea, and so he would have an excuse to sit down for a few more minutes while he was diarrhea from salt water. That was your excuse. That was your justification, not that it would hurt him. And you did so for what? Because of some punishment. You wanted to regulate his food, even though you yourself testified that he didn't really gain a lot of weight. Toward the end of these text messages, you and Paul are talking about not wanting him to win. He's not going to win. I didn't allow pictures to be shown in open court of Timothy as he was when he died because I didn't want people to remember him like that. But of all the things you took away.
and you don't want to see him like that. I have, a couple other people have. It's awful. Awful. So I understand why he says that.
Away from thing. One thing I didn't want you to take away from him was at least some shred of dignity. And then I also thought, well, I'm a judge. I'm a human being. I don't know how to write this wrong. We try to do that. I try to do that from the bench every day. There's no way to write this wrong except impose a sentence that essentially takes away your freedom. And I thought to myself, what do I do? And I will tell you this. I'm choosing not to remember your son dead, looking like a Holocaust victim, but I'm choosing to remember like that. And you can't even look at him. That's how he was.
That's what I said. He looks like a Holocaust victim. It's so bad. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this isn't real. And I was like, this isn't him. And it was. I was like, oh my God. It's so, like, it's rough. It's hard.
A beautiful child with a lot of life in his eyes. That's who your son was. And you took that from him. I'm choosing to remember him as a happy individual with life, not as an individual. And that's the picture I want people to remember of your son. You took that from him. You took it from him. For what reason, I don't know. Mr. Johnson's right. There is something broken in you. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't negate what you did here. So besides remembering him like that, I'm not going to let you hide in the darkness anymore. People know what you are now. They know what you did. You're not able to hide in the darkness anymore.
Oh, look
Timothy
at him.
won. And he won because
Timothy did win. Look at how precious he is. The judge really cared about this case. He put a lot of thought into it. Like, this is so sincere. And that's why I loved this sentencing so much.
we know what you did to him now. It's not hidden anymore. We know who you are. That's the way that I'm going to honor him. You don't win because justice, thank God, in this case prevailed. I can't even imagine if you had been able to resuscitate him. He'd be still suffering. So if there's anything I'm grateful for, would be that he finally passed away so you couldn't continue to torture him like you did. So sentence of the court, first as to count 2, child abuse in the first degree. Court sentences you 50 years to 100 years in prison, credit for 575 days. Court is exceeding guidelines in this case. The court finds that the amount of torture that I've indicated in terms of the long-term suffering that Mr. Ferguson, Timothy went through justifies on a reasonable grounds to depart from the guidelines. Used to be the standard was the guidelines. If the guidelines had taken into consideration all the elements, I don't think they would take into consideration the amount of absolute systematic, consistent torture that you engaged in here. I think that's enough reasons to justify departing from the guidelines. There's a $68 state cost, $130 crime victim rights assessment. As to count 1, felony murder, it's a sentence of the court. You serve a term within the Michigan Department of Corrections for the rest of your natural life without parole. Again, there's credit for 575 days that you've already served. There's a $68 state cost. The crime victim assessment fee has already been assessed, and the court is going to assess a $450 public defender fee. Ms. Vander Ark, you have a right to file an application. You have a right to file an appeal.
And that's why we're here doing this, because she did file an appeal. And do you guys want to see Paul's little trial and his sentencing? Put a 1 in the chat if you do. If not, we're just going to go to Shanda's 2 new hearings next week. Let me know.
Request for this, if you are unable to afford an attorney, one will be appointed to a public expense. Request for assistance to a lawyer must be made within 42 days from today's date. Clerk is handing you a form that you must complete, return to the court in that 42 days. Mr. Roberts.
Judge, just briefly, I believe you did indicate you would order that $5,000 in restitution.
Oh, I did. Thank you, Mr. Roberts. The court will order $5,000 in restitution at this time to the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services with the caveat that Mr. Johnson, you can certainly, if after the documentation, you can certainly ask.
So you guys, wait. I forgot what I said 1 for. That you do want to see his trial, or you don't want to see his, because it's not the whole thing. Or do you just want to see his sentencing?
For a restitution hearing and to contest that amount.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else for the record, Mr. Roberts?
No, thank you, Judge.
Mr. Johnson?
No, sir.
All right, we're adjourned.
Yes, okay.
It kills me for being able to order stuff.
Okay. Okay. I don't think it's too much, so we can just watch his little stuff and then we'll do the 2 hearings. Maybe we'll just do the sentencing. It's not a lot, but maybe we'll do that and then we'll get into her 2 new hearings, and then that will be it for the Shanda series, I guess. I am not sure what you're talking about. Okay, so her son, Paul Ferguson, also had a trial. She kind of forced him to torture his younger brother, her son. The look on Paul's face. I know, it's so funny. Oh my God. So, he was also charged. So he had a separate trial. And, so there are a couple of videos from that. It's not the whole trial, but if you want, we can just watch the sentencing. Yeah, he's her little minion. if you go back to the very first, if you go back to the very first video that I did, it'll show you, the very first video I did on Shanda, it will show you, all about him and like the whole thing, the whole situation. Um, so yeah, I think that's about it. And I'm working on some new content. So we will have a new trial. It's an older trial. I'm really excited about it. I actually have 3 trials that we're going to cover, and we're just going to do one at a time. But, and again, it's not going to be, unless you want to do the whole thing, we can do the whole thing. But yeah, so I hope everybody has a great week. I'm going to go try some snacks because I got some more snacks. I got these sour pickle balls. They're supposed to be like the sourest stuff. And Wrap Snacks came out with honey buns, strawberry and lemon. So I'm going to go do that. So I hope you're good with just the sentencing. Awesome. Awesome. I hope you all have a great week. All right.
So long for now and goodbye. We'll see you